Abusia for a year former Buffer Stock CEO. And then there, Nkomobi Ababonten, yes. Dear Sam and Ababonten, a year former Buffer Stock CEO. Where dear Mamma Cassa, one Mamma Cassa, and yet in Tim, say I yako. Na yeti and Coma a course, so yes, in Tim Commodimu and Cassa and Chimamasis. Aha. And that's why I bear me there, Jebes, so I saw best subscribe like Nabusa, boss, for person be a and ye be a Tim Coma course or Massia.
Former Buffer Stock CEO. The lawyer Godfred Dame, former Attorney General. Ayeni react to the arrest of his clients. Now, as we told you, Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, same side, enemy who say, Aludiba eba court say we here permit to travel to UK. Now, I bet you say offer to withdraw sika aban and I say aban state in the inside so say they can say frozen account. Now, Godfred Dame react to a year and some Deputy Attorney General Srim side a postie a made in a post on social Facebook Akroma adena any na the air course on wati na nina no pa say entisha say ne client no ayeden fa chiri akwa ayeden akofa sika bi anazo akwa withdraw ne sika bi na TV3 so na me update ewo we no nti na bekwa akoti the air course reaction a free Godfred Dame eba any client up to Hannan security enforcement for Accra in regarding to say all to kwana the state account I have state na frozen up say we scan state.
The next 60 minutes, if you spend your time with me, we also want to hear from you. We're active on Facebook, STV3 Ghana. We'll hopefully read your comments and share them to the rest of the world. And now, former National Food Buffer Stock Company CEO Hannan has been rearrested by the security agencies. The arrest was effected at the Accra International Airport. The Office of the Attorney General explains he had attempted to fraudulently empty his bank account and after being granted permission by an Accra High Court to travel out of his country. His lawyers have, however, been disputing this narrative, accusing the state security of breaching the orders of the court. Through the reactions by the Attorney General and that of his lawyers. And so law enforcement officers have arrested Hannan Abdullah, who's the former CEO of NAFCO, at the Accra International Airport after he allegedly tried to fraudulently empty his Frozen Republic Bank account on Thursday, July 2, 2026. And Mr. Aludiba, who is currently standing trial for stealing and causing financial loss to the Republic, was granted leave by the High Court to travel to the United Kingdom for a few days. And the Attorney General will on Monday seek a review of the court order granting Aludiba travel leave. And this is actually signed by the Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Justice Shremsai, and this was actually on his Facebook. And so let's get the reaction from the lawyers of former NAFCO CEO. Dame and partners, attention has been drawn to a Facebook post by the Dr. Shremsai on 4th July 2026, purporting an unlawful arrest of Hannan Abdul-Wahab despite a High Court order dated 29 June 2026 permitting his client to travel to the UK. And Hannan Abdul-Wahab was permitted by Justice Achibonga Court of Appeal, sitting as additional High Court judge, to travel for an optician's appointment that's relating to his eye from 4th to 12th July 2026 after hearing argument from counsel in the matter, including Dr. Shremsai, and they claim that their client tried to fraudulently empty his frozen account. It's false. They challenged the deputy any withdrawal since the court order. And so this also signed by Godfred Dame, who is the lawyer for the former NAFCO CEO. And so, of course, this is a development. We'll be monitoring and surely furnish with updates in our subsequent bulletins. away from legal matters. And there, the Attorney General's witness says that the item was delivered. I signed for it. I paid for it because I'm head of finance. Counsel for Defense says, my lord, if it wouldn't worry anybody, can we all go to the National Signals Bureau, your agent, the judge's agent, the Attorney General, who already has control over the Signals Bureau, and we, the Defense Council, you can add neutral people, the leadership of the Ghana Bar Association, and the leadership of the new one, Dafia Mako's own, what is it called? Association of Ghana Bar or something like that, Solicitor Ghana something, their thing, he and Javier Susu. You can bring all of them. Let's go to the National Signals Bureau and let us find out whether the equipment is there or not. It's an application before His Lordship. I sincerely believe that His Lordship will grant it. I hope so. Anyway, let's move on. Contrary to the Attorney General's allegations that some 49.1 million had been stolen or lost at the National Signals Bureau, Edith Ruby Adumwa testified that there was no report or audit query whatsoever that any such amount had been stolen or gone missing at the National Signals Bureau. She denied ever transferring monies to buy houses for Eduboahin. She denied Eduboahin ever using operational funds for personal use. That's very interesting. And on that day, I was in court, and that was the most powerful one. Atacha is such a fantastic lawyer. I mean, all of us had not thought about it. You see, so the lawyers were talking about it in the court as I sat with them. It's very interesting. The first point that Dominic Aini should have made to the court is to establish that as National Signals Bureau, they are looking for a 49.1 million which is lost. That's the first thing you should have established, because that's really the case. You are prosecuting on behalf of the National Signals Bureau. There has to be a complaint from the National Signals Bureau or an audit from the National Signals Bureau by the Auditor General, like what goes into Abna's committee, Abna Osasari, that's very intelligent MP, Public Accounts Committee. So that the Attorney General can begin on the premise that the Auditor General has reported a 49.1 million inconsistency or loss with the National Signals Bureau, alleging that a cybersecurity equipment that can be the basis of the Attorney General's case. The Attorney General didn't do that at all. He was more interested in press conferences and addressing the media and telling the media that people are thieves and prosecuting a public opinion trial for political gain. That's what he was interested in. Now all that gain has collapsed because time is the master of all of us. So all that political gain that Attorney General thought he gained, it has collapsed on his head today. The other day somebody was whispering to me that they said that Dominic Aini had some issue and he wanted to resign and they begged him not to resign. I said, oh well, he's brought it upon himself. Because this is what is happening. Everything he said in the press conference has now collapsed on his head. Every pep, the military people call it peps, I think they were. Every pep that he won because of the press conference has been torn off his shoulders today. Because he held a press conference and said that there was no equipment and that the money had been stolen. And yet, when he appeared before the court, he did not ground his case on the fact that the National Signals Bureau itself is in possession of that information that their money has been stolen. So in court, Atacha asked the lady that, are you the head of... She said, yes. He said, if there will be money lost, would you know? She said, yes, I will know. She said, so far, has the National Signals Bureau lost any money? She said, no, we haven't lost any money. Then Atacha turned to the judge and turned to the court. So what's the Attorney General looking for? The people at the Signals Bureau in the testimony before the High Court, sworn evidence, said that there's no money lost to the National Signals Bureau. But the Attorney General says that there's money lost. And this is the Attorney General's witness. And the witness is the head of finance. And if there's money lost, she would know. But she said that no money lost. Dominic Aini was not there, but Srem Sai was very there. He was sitting there. He shaking his head, looking at his time. I was spying him. One day I'll do video of him and come and play it, you see. But I think that's unfair. That's why I've not done it. He was sitting right there. He heard it. Everybody in the court heard it. Everyone was shaking their head. And people wanted to clap for Atacha. It was such a great twist in the matter when Atta told the court that, my lord, you've heard her. There's no money lost. Anyway, so this is it. The contrary to Attorney allegations, Edith testified that there was no report or audit query whatsoever that any such amount had been lost. Meanwhile, the National Signals Bureau has been audited. Every year they get audited by the Auditor General. In fact, if they haven't been audited in 2025, they have been audited.
So the Attorney General can pick up the 2025, which is the John Mahama administration, pick up the audit report of 2025 and come and tell us that the Auditor General in 2025, whilst he was auditing the National Signals Bureau, found out that 49 million is lost. That Dominic Ayeni and Sremsai have not been able to do any such thing, yet they are in court prosecuting. So let's move on. Edith Adumwa stated that no 49 million has gone missing at her department, contrary to the claims by the Attorney General. She further stated that no query had been raised against Edumwa internally in the national security. Now, we are going to another testimony. So, Edumwa, until the prosecution, in fact, even up till now, is still an employee of the National Signals Bureau. Yes, he is. I think now they've asked him to take a long leave or something like that. But by the time they began the prosecution, Edumwa was still a staff and the director of the BNC. He was still there. And the Edith, in her testimony in Atachia's cross-examination concluding questions, was asked whether there's been any inquiry in the office about Kwabena's, the accused person's conduct, and the answer was in the negative. Nothing. Let's look at Mildred Donko. After her conversion from accused person to prosecution witness, Mildred Donko testified that her assistance to Edumwa and his wife was part of her professional duties as a banker, rather than criminal actions as originally alleged by the Attorney General when she was the third accused person. She used to be third accused, now she's on the prosecution side. She, Mildred Donko, maintained that she acted lawfully in carrying out those banking duties. She confirmed that the authorized withdrawals would ordinarily appear in court in official bank statements, debunking claims by the Attorney General that the withdrawals were concealed. She confirmed that the transfers were reflected in official banking records and not underhand dealings. She testified that the Advantage Solutions, that's a company, the Advantage Solutions was incorporated in 2008 and not a recent undertaking to steal money. She confirmed that Advantage Solutions was an existing company before she joined it. She testified that Advantage Solutions funded national security special operations as far back as 2018. Contrary to the Attorney General's allegations that the accounts of Advantage Solutions were used as conduits to steal money, Mildred testified that the Advantage Solutions rather loaned monies to the national security to pre-finance special operations. She confirmed that the payments to the ICS Holdings Limited for the procurement of a cyber defense system was a genuine transaction backed by a SWIFT record. SWIFT is a banking term for foreign money and all of that. She testified that the 16 million fixed deposit was done on the BNC operations and not in Edumwa's personal name, as alleged erroneously by the Attorney General. She testified that she had been coached. She testified that she had been coached during IOCO processes and that her witness statement was prepared after reviewing the charge sheets with her lawyer. Well, there was a conversation here about at which point her charge sheet was reviewed. And Atacha came to the conclusion that she may have been coached. We don't know yet whether the court will draw that conclusion, but that's the conclusion that was drawn by defense counsel, that Mildred, you have been coached by IOCO. That's in the court's record. We wait to see what the judge will say about that. She confirmed that she was detained and later granted bail before becoming a prosecution witness. Okay, so that's Mildred Donko. I think that is that all. Yeah. Okay, so do you have some more? Okay, so then there's also currently ongoing. That's just ended. In fact, it was happening today when, as you must have read online on CTFM online, Doomsaw affected the court. So in the middle of Atachia's cross-examination, that ended. Now, the guy there now, who is there, Cromwell. Mr. Cromwell is the investigator. And Mr. Cromwell has been saying certain things that I see that the same side people have been publishing, hoping that it helps their case in the court of public opinion. Now, Mr. Cromwell has been saying that the salary of Kwabena Edumwa, 5,000 cedis a month in 2018, 9,000 cedis a month in 2019 or something like that, cannot possibly buy the properties, some properties. But here is a real question that Edumwa's lawyers are asking. The Attorney General and the prosecution have failed to bring the said properties to the court to demonstrate that the properties that they heard of by gossip, that the properties are truly Edumwa's properties. Because Advantage Solution, which is Edumwa's wife, is into property business, what they do is that they secure land and then they auction the land for people to build on the land. Sometimes they can build for you. You know that arrangement is all over. Sometimes they can build for you. Sometimes you build and they supervise. Most of the estate gated communities are like that. And this is the business that Advantage Solutions, which is led by Kwabena Dubois' wife as chief executive since 2008, have been doing. And so those houses that Advantage Solutions have claim over, 90% of it is not for them. It's for other people. They are a platform that is just putting people's homes there. So they have some homes, but they don't have the 35 that you go and see in the community. 90% of the 35 is not for them. It's for other people. So when they saw that and they saw Advantage Solutions, then they put it together that it must be Kwabena Dubois' property. It is this matter that Cromwell has come to the court, and Atta was cross-examining him, and he's saying that the salaries of Dubois doesn't match the acquisition of those properties. But those properties are not Dubois' acquisitions, and there's no evidence to that. So, you see, viewers, that's the thing with court and criminal prosecution. This Metro TV building here, we are in North Ridge in Accra, very nice building. When we were constructing this building, I was coming here every day. So if somebody was sitting there and says that, this thing is for Paul Adumoche, every day he comes there. Can't you see that when he comes then, the people who are working, they call him boss, boss. When he's about to come, they say, boss, a bow. Then they are in a hurry, they are doing the mortar and they are putting the iron rods because boss is coming. If you look at that, then you go and say in court that the Metro TV building is for me, you will be laughed at and laughed upon, because whether a building is for somebody or not is a legal question, and it's a question of documents, and it's verifiable. There's only one basis on which you can say a property belongs to an individual is that it's registered in his name. That is all. Nothing more, nothing less. The fact that I came here every day when they were building it, the fact that I was coming here, sleeping here, the fact that my brother is the engineer who did it, the fact that it was my sister who was the painter, all of those facts are inconsequential to the document that determines who is the owner of the property. So that's what has happened. Gossip has gone around. But Kwabena Dubois and his wife, they have money. Hey, this property here, all the houses are for them. I'll show you something. Every Saturday morning, Kwabena comes here, I'll show you. Then Saturday, say, Charlie Kanka, have you seen him? Have you seen that? That's Kwabena Dubois, the guy at the Signals Bureau. You see that he's inspecting the house. The house is for him. So, Oral, which Dom Levo said is garbage, sits down and somebody goes to Oral, raises his hand, he's Kofi Mensah Edionum. Yes, what do you have? Kwabena Dubois is a thief. There are some houses, I can go and show you the houses. Then they follow him, chuku. They go to the place, they look at the thing, then they bring it in press conference. A whole lawyer, PhD, Dr. Dominic Ayini, a whole brutal lawyer, Stanford University. Oh, boy, what is going on?